All right. Salute, y'all. We are back. You know, we are back here doing what we do, doing what we love doing, right? It's all about ancestral knowledge, the knowledge of the ancestor, the greatness and the beauty of the African ancestral line. There's nothing better than, loving, exploring, learning about Ifa, right? The zodiac of the Mapungubwe, the divination bowl of the Bavenda, the Dogon, the Kanaga, the Po. There's nothing greater than that. And I love and I'm proud to who I am. And if I had a choice to make a change, I will not even change a damn thing. I will never. Who's that? Co-host. I don't need to co-host. These co-host thing, man, I don't know. How can we block that? They keep flocking, and popping up, as co-host. I don't need that. I don't need to co-host. I got my people in the chat ready for me, ready to rock and roll. We don't have time to co-host. Now, I need to change the, hold on. Yeah, I need to duplicate. Let me change the graphical view of this thing here. Graphical output. We want to output to extended desktop. Built-in display. And built-in display, built-in display plus digital display. Let's try that. Okay, there you go. And then now, my phone is not straight. Okay, so let's bring the slide back here. Now, it's beautiful and it's good to know these things. The greatness and the beauty of what the ancestors have done. And they have been attacked for doing what they were doing because it was beyond imagination. Because others got mad and they were jealous because they could not replicate the same thing. You remember the story of the divination bowl? The Whitey Muzungu, who heard about how the Bavenda people were able to view and to see through space in light years away. How did they do it? So this Whitey Muzungu tried to replicate the experiment. Unfortunately, he saw his own reflection in the divination tray. After pouring water and the powder, following the steps, it didn't work. He was really mad and he was really upset that damn, how come these people are capable to see beyond the star? We did not need a spacesuit. We did not need a space shuttle. We did not need a Hubble telescope. We did not need a satellite probe. We did not need to put satellite in orbit. We didn't have to put people's life at risk the way it is today in the Congo in order to acquire the minerals, the coltan, the manganese, the copper needed to build circuit board. The ancestors were just using natural product around them, stone carving, nuts, bones, and through the divination bowl of the Bavenda, they were capable to see through the star, to see the heavenly body. Now, someone may say, hey Putolo, you're talking about nonsense. What are you talking about? Well, did you know that the CIA document shows the envy, the need to learn about African sciences and try to replicate that in the lab. Yes, they were trying to perform and learn how to do remote viewing. It is a science. It is a science that is mastered best by African people. They understand this better. It works for them. So why getting away from the things that have been working well for us? And when it comes to security, right? We don't have the money. Thank you, she stole. So since we may not have the cash on hand, we have the minerals, we have the resources. We can even auction our resources to acquire anything we need on this planet. But the West is not willing to deliver 21st century security package to African country, because the plan and the agenda is to make African vulnerable to any attack, to terrorism. So we must not be at peace, right? Africa must not be at peace for the Western world, because if we are at peace, it will be the end of stealing our resources. The ancestor understood better that the best way to practice knowledge is to be in harmony with the universe, with the environment, with nature. Harmony. So we are seeing a lot of good potential in the African ancestral knowledge. Security is included. Even if we have to go back to African spirituality and implement ways of securing our borders, of protecting our people, we don't care no more if someone is gonna come say, oh, it's witchcraft, it's magic. We don't give a damn. We are going in for African spirituality all the way. Even we gotta do everything we can to bring security to our beautiful continent, because enough is enough. We got the resources that we can auction to get the security package, but the West is not even willing to provide security package for African country. So we can no longer count on nobody. We have to count on our own self and our ancestor, of course. And like I said, this platform is going to be dedicated for ancestral African knowledge. And anybody who is going to dare come into this panel and disrespect the ancestor, you know it will be the end of that person stepping on the panel. That person will be banned forever. If you come up here to talk down on the ancestor and to talk down on black people, then it will be the end. So just make sure, if you come up here to talk bad about African people, black people, our ancestor, know it's the last time you came on this panel, because you're going to be banned forever. So this is the place where we appreciate the work of the ancestor. We're diving into the mind of the ancestor. The only way we can communicate with our ancestor in this realm at the present time is by diving first into what the ancestor have done. We will have to penetrate the mind of the ancestor, right? Before even getting to the invisible part or to the supernatural part. Because what we call supernatural or invisible, it is a concept well defined and well known in quantum physics. In quantum physics, we know the notion of physical and imaginary, visible and invisible. But because it's quantum physics, people are not going to use the word magic, witchcraft. But when it comes to African spirituality, as soon as you pronounce the word invisible, imaginary, black people are the first who are going to tell you, uh-oh, what are you talking about? But here, this is remote viewing, y'all. A CIA document in 1975-72, they are trying to replicate or to recreate. They are trying to understand how remote viewing works. But in Africa, we know well about remote viewing. But they have been tagging African knowledge as witchcraft and magic. Why is it in this document? They are not using the term magic, witchcraft, black magic, sorcery. No, none of that here. It's called quantum physics, quantum mechanics, subtle energy, subtle particles, and things like that. So, in African spirituality, our ancestors have mastered the supernatural. They understand this better than any PhD or professor in quantum physics or quantum mechanics. How did the Dogon possibly were able to see a star that is at 8.6 light years away from the Earth and visible to the naked eye? How did they possibly do that? Well, we heard all kind of theory. We heard that, well, they were lying, number one, right? Western science was saying that the Dogon were making things up. Then it became, someone gave them the information. The alien visited them and told them about the cosmos. All kind of theory around it. Maybe the Anunnaki. Maybe the Dogon are the Anunnaki. Maybe the Dogon are the giant. Maybe the Dogon are the Babylonian. All kind of names were given to, to qualify the Dogon as people not from this realm. But by studying ancestral African knowledge, we have learned something amazing among the Bavenda people in southern Africa, the Shona, Mapungubwe, Makalanga, Mpumalanga. We have learned amazing principle and knowledge that allowed us to understand how the Dogon could have possibly be able to know about star systems that were not visible to the naked eye. Is it magic? Is it fiction? Is it imagination? Well, we got salient account. The Muzungu presented a thesis of PhD in which the process and the description was clearly explained. And we went to find the source of the information. We were able to identify the book, right? And in that book, we beautifully landed on the 16 law or the 16 sign of Southern African Bavenda spirituality, similar to the 16 primordial sign we see in the hexadecimal system, similar to the 16 sign or primordial sign we see in Ifa. So West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa, East Africa, we are forever binded and connected all together. There is no way someone is going to come on this panel and say that, Southern Africa are different than Western Africa. Western Africa are different than Southern Africa. It's not going to happen here. It will not happen on my panel. Maybe someone else. You can try a different platform. Not here. Right? So over here, everybody comes to the table. There is no separation. There is no division. Right? So, this morning, we were breaking down Ifa. And we were breaking down the divination or the science. Again, the term divination is a Western concept. The term religion is a Western concept. But we have been indoctrinated. Me, myself, we have been indoctrinated to the point where we are using these words and not even understanding the impact that can have. Those words are damaging. when they say divination. That means someone is guessing, it is random, it's not sure, sometimes it's work, sometimes it doesn't work. So the word divination doesn't even fit with the definition of Ifa. Ifa is beyond that. Ifa is greater and bigger than the word divination they have attached to Ifa. It is a science. It is knowledge, greatness, right? So I think we are going to go do some reading. So let's check first. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the live. So let's check first what we went over this morning and see where we left off, right? So I think I was at page 369, and we were breaking down Ifa. It was around this page. Ile, Ife. Alright, we can touch that later. Hold on. Oh man, these people keep sending co-host. I don't need to co-host. Now, this is the IKIN. We're gonna read about the IKIN, right? The knowledge and the manipulation. We're gonna use the term manipulation instead of divination by nuts. We're gonna use manipulation of the nuts of the IKIN, the palm nuts. Now, right? So we read here this morning, we highlighted right all the way around here. So we read there. Now, what is this? This here is what is called the IROKE. A wand. This is the wand, right? Let me remove this. Okay. This is a wand or tapper used in Yoruba Ifa knowledge or Ifa system. The Babalawo taps the Ifa board with the point of the tapper repeatedly to summon the attention of the necessary Orisha, ESHU, and ORUNMILA. Yoruba people, Nigeria, Ivory. Now, in order to summon the attention of the necessary Orisha, ESHU is the messenger, the one in charge of bringing the sign or the message in the form of a binary number. A binary number is going to be brought through the Opele or the IKIN through ESHU. ESHU is the communication messenger, the one bringing it. Now, in the Western paradigm, they will not understand this when you will explain that ESHU is the messenger, being an Orisha. They're going to wonder how the hell in the world, damn, a deity is bringing a binary number. And we have ORUNMILA, who are basically the Babalawo would seek attention of ESHU and ORUNMILA in order to get the message displayed in the Opele. Now, let's look at this here. This is the Opele, the divination the chain, the opele. It is made of 8 carries. Each carries is made of 2 sides, the open and the close. So the obtention or the configuration of the opele after it is thrown, that number or combination obtained is an octet or 8-bit number. Open, double bar, single bar, double bar, single bar, double, 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 or single bar, double bar, single bar, double bar, depending on the Babalawo. We are told that the octet or this combination that is obtained is not random. But the Western scientists will argue that, oh, I don't see anything that triggers or that dictates. I don't see any law. What is the rule or the law for this to be either open or closed during this, right, the first row? And then the next row, what is the rule that would dictate this to be closed, this to be open, and vice versa? It appears and it seems to be random, but it is not. Why? Because before the chain is thrown, there is a set of rules and processes the Babalawo has to take. He has to implement specific steps. Orientation to the cardinal point is one of them. Calibration of the scene, the plate, the divination tray, the Opon Ifa, right? The divination tray. Everything has to be done and arranged in a very specific manner. And I should have a picture of an example of the settings during the process, right? So it should be in this set of slide. Let me pull it up here. So usually when people hear about Ifa, right, they ask a lot of questions, but they don't take the time to go dive and try to understand and read a little bit about it, right? The scene of the consultation is very specific to calibration, arrangement, disposition, placement. And the day before the consultation, there are specific items that are given to the patient before the day of throwing or casting the chain. People don't know about that, right? Look at that. It looked like a small miniature circuit board, but this is the circuit board in the African paradigm. You don't need wire, copper, resistor, diode, capacitors, but you have things over here that play the role of memory, the mouse, right? What will be the mouse? The mouse will be the chain, because every time the mouse is thrown, it is equivalent to clicking in Google. It's like clicking. Every time you click, it takes you from one page to another, right? There's what we call a hyperlink. It takes you to a library. So this chain alone is a bit, right? A byte or 8-bit or octet generator. It generates octet called Odu, right? And we have multiple elements here, and we have the arrangement and the disposition, right? We're going to come back to this. Going back here. So there are specific processes, stage that needs to be fulfilled before this is cast. Calibration, orientation, the patient the day before it is cast, right, needs to have specific items, spend the night with the person if you did not know. Yes, because the human body has to be calibrated to the upcoming event. The human body needs to be calibrated to the specific upcoming events. Let me see if I have this thing here. It should be here. Hold on. Like I mentioned today, this morning, the human body permeates the universe. The human body permeates the universe, nature, the cosmos. So, if the human body is synchronized to the environment, that human body should be able to respond, right, to the different interaction, the question, the problem, the solution are all permeating the person. It's all around you. For example, if you wanna go play soccer, let's say you wanna go play soccer. Number one, you have to have your soccer shoe, your soccer gear. You have to have a uniform. You need to have a ball. Or maybe you need to have a group of people with whom you play soccer, right? You cannot just open the door because soccer came in your mind and you start walking around with no shoe or maybe with sandals because you want to play soccer. You're just wandering around. There's what we call preparation, right? So before the person goes to the consultation, there is preparation. Where is that? Probably buried somewhere here. Let's see. Grand Rising, all welcome to the live, welcome to the live. We are back here. I see that Buddha is in the house. So let's look it up here. All right, let's start here. I have a nice illustrated configuration to help understand by what I mean the human body permeates the cosmos. Oh, there you go. I knew it was here. Now, I need to be careful here. Before I put it on the screen, I need to do some type of, I need to cover specific area here. Give me a second here, y'all. Last time I showed it on TikTok. Yeah, I got dropped, right? So TikTok thought it was a real person, but it was a statue. You see? Right? This here is just a statue, right? Last time I showed it on TikTok, right? My life got ended. They said violation for showing private part. For showing the private part of a statue. Right? So hold on. Now, what you have here is, this is just an example to illustrate how specific area of the body are ruled or controlled by specific sign. We have the 16 primordial sign. Those 16 primordial sign can be arranged, right, with specific area or part of the body. That does not mean that if you have headache, the number that should be obtained is the number connected to the head or the ori. No, it depends on the interpretation of the babalao. It's very key. It must be a very well-trained babalao. Usually, they start at the age of 7, 8, or 9. By the time they reach 30 years old, 40 years old, they are professional, right? So, we see specific sign associated with specific part of the body. And then, once the body is plugged in into the spider web mesh-like with specific sign connected with specific part of the body or specific a problem or phenomena of nature associated with the body. That's why the babalao, they know the hardest work is actually the interpretation. They know exactly how to read or to extract the modem, the message. It's similar to a decoder, right? The message is coded. They have to decode it. Once they decode it, they have to translate in intelligible, understandable concept or solution, right? It can point to a plant, it can point to an offering, it can point to multiple things, but it is all ruled by the 16 primordial sign, because the 16 primordial sign permeates the whole universe. These are the 16 primordial signs of nature, of everything, right? So everything in nature is ruled and controlled and connected to the 16 primordial sign. So now, once you plug in, so I'm going to bring in here this model here. Once you plug in the 256 sign in a spider mesh like that, we have 256 sign. The body permeates the environment, nature, the cosmos. So the solution to the problem, we know it is in nature. We know it is around us. It can be a plant, it can be a leaf, it can be an offering, it can be advice, right? It can be an advice, recommendation. So basically, what the patient needs to do is right there. We just have to figure out what is it. And the babalao will tap at the door, right? Babalao will summon the attention of the necessary orisha, ESHU, ORUNMILA, to bring the sign or the number or the message through the opele, the 8-bit number called Odu. You see? Now, why the tapper? When you go visit a relative or a friend, right? In the West, you must have an invitation. It's not like in Africa where you can show up to someone's house without the need of making an appointment. Don't do that in the West. You'll be sorry. Right? But back home in Africa, you don't need permission or agreement to visit someone. Anytime, you can do that. You don't need authorization. You don't need to ask. You just show up, right? Now, once you show up to the house, are you going to stand in front of the door and wait for those who are in the house to figure out that someone is out and waiting? No. What do? You knock at the door. You knock at the door to summon the attention of the people in the house. The house, in that house, in Ifa, that house is inhabited by the Orisha. ESHU, ORUNMILA is two of them. So when you get there, you knock at the door to summon the attention of the parent, of the brother or the sister in the house you went to visit. Then someone will hear the noise, kong, 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 kong. Oh, someone is at the door. Who's that? Oh, that's me. Oh, welcome. Wow, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. Yeah, I came here because, Mama is not feeling well and I needed some honey. And I didn't want to go to the store. It's too far away. I was wondering if I could have some honey and some lemon because she really needs it there. She's having a bad cough. Then your sister or your auntie goes in and say, oh yeah, I still have some left over. There it is. She will give you some honey, some lemon, and on top of it, she will make you a nice, beautiful plate. Oh, I just finished cooking. Do you want to have a plate? Yeah, sure, of course, why not? There you go. So they have to summon the attention of the Orisha. The Orisha live in the house. What is the house of the Orisha? Nature. Nature. The human body permeates the whole universe. The Orishas are part of nature, of the cosmos. So you may wonder, what a little tap, the tap on the back of the tray, what is it doing? How is that possible that the tapping on the back of the tray triggers the attention of the Orisha, ESHU, ORUNMILA? Yes, because we are surrounded by invisible forces. You breathe the air. You inhale air, but do you see air? No. We spoke usually of gravitational force. Do you see gravitation? No. Do you see electromagnetic radiation of the earth? No. But we know it is there and it's having effect on the human body. It's not just visible, right? So they had to use the IROKE to summon the attention of the Orisha. The same way when you go in the village to visit your grandma or your uncle, when you get in the family compound or in their house compound, you knock at the door and someone will hear the noise and be like, oh, someone is at the door. Who is this? Oh, that's me. Oh, wow, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you for a minute. So how can I help you? Right? Then you expose your problem. After you expose your problem, you get out of her house with a solution, with some answer. The ancestors were smart and intelligent to understand that the simple concept, the simple day-to-day activity that we're doing every day, we have to implement the same action with the invisible surrounding forces. Yes, they are around you. They are ready to act on your behalf if you know how to summon their attention. The Babalao is trained for this purpose, right? Now, let's look at, we can look at the spot where I have the divination tray and the IROKE. So give me a second, let me find it. So that will be Control Find. I have a lot of these words here. So the back of the tray should be here. Man, you see, there you go already. These kids, man, they don't know how to be quiet. So that will be here, here. Now, so the back of the divination tray, or the black, I can just say the back of the tray, right, contain, right, a depression or an opening or a hole. That depression or hole serve as resonance. I have not translated the slide in English, right? It serves as a chamber of resonance. When this, right, when this object called the IROKE is used to summon the attention of ESHU, the Orisha called ESHU, and ORUNMILA. When this is used to tap, you see in the marking, you know, this Babalao who owns this divination tray. By the way, this specific divination tray is actually sitting in Europe, in the museum. They took it, right? They took it, and they are keeping these instruments in prison. A museum is a prison, right? So where are the artifacts of the Western people themselves? Why their museum is just full and packed of African stuff, right? So it's theft, big theft, right? It is basically the biggest theft in the world is done by the Western country. Yes, it's theft. But they're gonna play with the words and be like, oh, protection of world heritage. We want to make sure it is secure. We want to make sure nothing happened to these artifacts. Who made those artifacts? Is that you? How come someone makes something, you come take it by force, and you're telling them, I'm going to protect you and save it and save it for you, and they are making money out of it? See? So basically, so actually, let's do this, right? For future improvement, I can just quickly do this, guy, right? Let's do this. It's going to be quick, trust me, right? Let's just do that, right? So we're going to do, bam, right? And then we're going to copy. Oops. Then let me copy this, right? Translation is done. I just have to copy it there. Control, copy, and then let me duplicate the slide. Duplicate, right? And then, bam. Then, there you go. Now, the back of the tray has a hollow that serves as a resonance chamber when the soothsayer punctuates the recitation of the oracle by striking the tray with a stroke of his wand. The sound produced by this percussion must allow communication between man and spirit. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to change this. This is for future presentation purposes. So we're going to be doing this, right? So once I get to a slide, right, that needs translation, we just do this. You see how it was quick? And then I'm going to highlight communication between man and spirit. Now, this section here, of communication between man and spirit can be confusing for a lot of people. We have spent tremendous amount of time breaking down the Kanaga, the Dikenga, and we have explained why and how the physical realm and the spiritual realm were both intertwined and inseparable. Let me I can bring up this slide over here, right? We have spent tremendous amount of time, and now you understand why I was spending too much time on this. Because in order to understand where the numbers, the octet or the byte in IFA comes from, I landed in the Congo in order to understand the flow and the manipulation of energy. That's why the African clan will never all combine and be one. The way I hear people on TikTok saying a continent with too much clan, too many tribe. Yes, it's for a reason. Every specific tribe was assigned specific tasks, and they were master at different specific aspects of African spirituality. So the Muzungu and the colonists came to Africa and they disrupted that structure. They disrupted it, right? Basically by telling the people not to speak their language anymore. The Berlin Conference putting tribes that belong to a specific land, dividing them. So we have tribes today who find themselves one leg in Nigeria, the right leg in Nigeria, the left hand in Cameroon. The right leg in Nigeria, the left leg in Benin. The right leg in Benin, the left leg in Togo. The right leg in Togo, the left leg in Ghana, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and so on. They did it by design, right? So, you see, we're talking about Ifa, but I have to come here in the Congo to explain the flow of the energy and how the combination or the numbers are being presented or extracted and brought to Babalao through ESHU and ORUNMILA. So here we have what we call the Nseke and we have the Mpemba, right? The Nseke is the physical world. The Mpemba is the spiritual world. So when we speak here in the document, right? When they refer here in the document, in the slide, I should say, right? In the slide, communication between man and spirit. It's the communication between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. The sound produced by this percussion using this wand, right? Knocking in the tray. You can see the imprint here. Knocking in the tray. And Babalao knows exactly how to knock it. Not everybody can do it. He knows the frequency and the sound. It has to be within range. There is a specific frequency that needs to be generated here. It does not have to be too loud, or Babalao knows exactly how to do this, right? They are trained for that. So the purpose of knocking at the tray serve as knocking at the door when you go visit a family member or relative in the village. You get in front of the door. You don't just stand and expect and wait for someone to come at the door. If you don't knock at the door, nothing will happen. You have to knock at the door when you go visit someone. Someone will hear the noise and be like, oh, I'm hearing something at the door. Someone must be there. Let me go look. Same thing here. Someone has is summoning our attention. Someone has summoned our attention. This is ESHU and ORUNMILA. They know the frequency and the sound. So when we say ESHU and ORUNMILA, people think they are a person. They are beings. No, those are natural forces, nature spirit, nature forces, right? Nature spirit, nature forces that are mingled, right? They are intermingled, right? In the spider mesh network, right? This mesh here. ESHU, ORUNMILA are mingled into this configuration here, or the one with the 256 lines. We have 256 lines here. Each of this point is connected to 15, right? The remaining 15 dots. We have 16 dots at the extremities of the circle, right? I use this model as an example, right? So the octopus actually needs to be changed. It's not correct. So I basically corrected it. This is just an example to explain what I'm saying, right? That doesn't mean that it is actually like that. No, this is just an example to explain the concept, right? So ESHU, ORUNMILA, and all the Orishas are governing, right, this spider web mesh network, right? So they are there. You have to know at what frequency you have to summon their attention. And once the attention is summoned, what happened when you knock at the door of someone you went to visit? Someone comes at the door, someone come answer the door, right? And you have to tell why you are there. You are not just going to knock at someone's door and expect that person to figure out why you're here. You have to tell them, you have to greet, you have to do things, and you have to let the person know why you're there. In Ifa, there are chants, incantation, recitation, right? To communicate, to enter in the state of communication with the nature spirit. Nature spirit are real. Those are invisible, natural occurring phenomena. The wind, the lightning, wind, whatever you want, water, rain, hurricane, tornadoes, anything in nature around you that happen naturally, right? The cloud, even the cloud, right? Anything around you, the sun, the moon, night, day, right? Nighttime, daytime, plants, trees, all of those things permeates our environment. The solution of the problem is there within the mesh, the spider mesh network in which we're living in. The solution are there. It's just a matter of extracting it and bringing it to the Babalao, right? So, what did we say? Babalao knock at the tray. Where is the IROKE? Let me bring the IROKE here in this slide. Let me bring also the chain, right? I'm going to bring the chain in that slide. Copy. So I'm going to need that. I'm going to need this. Copy. What else I need? So let's go back here. I'm gonna grab this one, copy. Uh-oh, it didn't copy. All right, so let me copy this. Cut. And then let's move on down here. Now, so this instrument here is called the IROKE Ifa, the diviner's tapper, carved wooden or ivory object used to invoke Ifa while performing divination. The Ifa priest strikes the divination tray repeatedly with IROKE to call Ifa's presence to the session. Also to summon the presence of the Orisha, ESHU, and ORUNMILA. Now, this is before the chain is even cast or the nuts being picked from the left hand. When the sound is emitted, that sound reach what we call what? Resonance. Resonance with what? Resonance with the Mfinda. What is the Mfinda? The Mfinda is the forest where nature spirit dwell. What is nature spirit? Amongst nature spirit, you have all the Orishas. You see how we had the Congo plays a major role into explaining, right, into moving forward to the next level of Ifa, right? I could not do this without the knowledge of the Dikenga. The Babalawo knows this. In Ifa, they know this, but they don't talk about it. But in the Congo, the information is right there in plain sight. Right there. The information is right there. It explains the communication between the physical and the spiritual, how they both mingle, the communication between the human, man, and the spirit. The Mfinda is the forest in which nature spirit dwell. So let's do a quick recap here on the Mfinda, right? So let me get the slide with the Mfinda. What is the Mfinda? The Mfinda is that region here where, right, both mingle, right? Right there. Again, the back of the tray has a hollow that serves as a resonance. Let me highlight resonance. Resonance is very important. It serves as a resonance chamber. Let's highlight that. The back of the tray has a hollow that serves as a resonance chamber. When the soothsayer punctuates the recitation of the oracle or Babalawo by striking the tray with a stroke of his wand, the sound produced by this percussion must allow communication between man and spirits. I need this one here for future improvement of the slide. I need to paste this here. So next time When I read to this, I get to this slide, I know where to find the communication between man and spirit and how and where it is. Now, speaking of communication between man and spirit, the Mfinda, you can see that in the Mfinda, the physical realm and the spiritual realm mingle in the Mfinda. Both interact right there at the center. So this is where Babalawo would tap into this frequency in order to extract the answer to the question or the combination, which would then be transported and brought via the Ifa chain called Opele by the messenger named ESHU and ORUNMILA. Now, what is the Mfinda? Nature is also essential in the Congo science. While nature spirits, what is nature spirits? All the Orisha, all the naturally occurring phenomena, all wind, air, gravity, magnetism, all the things that you don't see, the natural occurring phenomena, visible and invisible. While nature spirits, including the Orisha. So here, if I had to write a book, I'm going to write here, while the Orishas later became more associated with the Kalunga. What is the Kalunga? It's the frequency or the vibration. The Babalawo needs to tap into this frequency here. This is called the Kalunga River, but it's not just water. It is a vibration. It is a signal. A signal, a frequency that has a resonance. It can reach resonance. So when the Babalawo tap the back of the tray, right, he synchronizes. He is synchronizing, right? I don't need this here. I should have copied this here and then take it back here. My apology. So let's go back up here. Nature is also essential in the Congo science, while the Orishas or nature spirits later became more associated with water or Kalunga, or, right, this is a frequency, a signal, a transmission, right? It has a frequency, right? It's the up and down, it's a signal, right? It's not just the end sound or water, just like you see in Kemet. They have the zigzag, the up and down. We are told that it's the end sound, but we learned from the Dogon. It can also represent electromagnetic forces or electromagnetic radiation. It is a signal, right? Signals have many different forms or characteristics. They were also known to dwell in the forest or the Mfinda. So the Mfinda is the region where the Orishas dwell. The Mfinda is the region in which dwell the Orishas. So when the Orishas are summoned through what? Through the tapping in this tray, they answer the door. They answer to the door. They answer to the door of the Mfinda. Babalawo is tapping at the door. Orishas, ESHU, ORUNMILA, Ifa shows up to listen to the request. A request is made, but before the request is made, they are chanting, they are incantation, there can be also offering and many other things, right, in order to summon or to catch the attention, you know. So Babalawo can explain that part better. Now, once the door is answered, The problem is submitted because the patient sends the message and the needs to Babalawo. Babalawo take the need of the patient and submit in front of the nature spirits. The nature spirit answer back to Babalawo through the chain. The answer comes to Babalawo in the form of zeros and one. The answer from the Orishas comes to Babalawo in the mat in the form of double bar, single bar, open and close. That's the communication system and language of nature spirits. How did the ancestor know that nature spirit speaks in terms of binary? How did the ancestor figure out and knew that nature spirit speaks in terms of zeros and one, or double bar and single bar? Now you understand why I have 16 quadrants here. Yep. I have divided the Dikenga, right, into 16 quadrants. Each quadrant is ruled by a specific sign, right? And the Orishas are right there in the Vinda, ready to answer to whoever will knock at the door. How does the Babalawo knock at the door? Babalawo knocks at the door using the IROKE, by tapping in the plate, in the tray, right? Knowing the right perfect frequency, because Babalawo knows how to reach resonance. The resonance chamber is in this. So this is specifically designed to very specific specification. This is not just built and made randomly. Someone cannot just take a piece of wood and carve it in the shape of what you see here. No, the tray itself, we're going to study the tray, right? It's very rich into symbolism. So basically the tray itself, when you look at the shape, right, it resembles what? The universe, the cosmos. Look at the center. You have the circle, right, in a square, right? So this represents the universe, the cosmos. And the specific person coming for a specific problem is somewhere here. It's projected in the universe. Basically, the person is geolocalized in the African paradigm way, because this plate has to be oriented a very specific way. Orientation, calibration, preparation before the day of the session. So a Western scientist will look at this and be, oh, these are just random shape and forms and animals represented here. We don't see how there's any communication or any correlation or anything logical into this, because it is beyond the Western paradigm. That's why we should not just try to copy what the Westerners are doing, because they're actually using the most complicated and risky way, putting nature and the environment at risk. Pollution, war, bloodshed, to dig for the minerals, right? Exploitation and things like that. Here, the ancestor possessed the knowledge and the piece of wood and some nuts, and they should be able to get more accurate information compared to anything else on the planet, right? Now, let me look at let's look at the chat. I know I've been speaking for a long time now, right? Grand Rising, resting honorable. Yeah, Grand Rising, man. Exo9 is in the house. That's Buddha, right? All right, Zwane. My theory is the Kalunga is the volcano in the Congo. Okay, so the way you see the Kalunga only has a physical place, right? So I think Maybe because you are working on something or you are doing research, but you are looking at the Kalunga as one physical place, and that's in the Congo. But according to this cosmogram, it's not just one physical place, right? It is also an invisible place. The forest in which house, the forest that house the Orishas, nature spirit. It clearly says here, right? It clearly says here. So I know you may find across some sources that tells you that, oh, there's a place somewhere called Kalunga. I don't think we're speaking about the same thing that's Buddha, right? In that sense, I don't think we are speaking about the same thing, right? So you may find a place in the Congo called Kalunga. You may find a volcano in the Congo called Kalunga. But in the concept of the Bakongo cosmogram, the concept being explained here, the Kalunga, it says here Kalunga River. That doesn't mean that the volcano in the Kalunga volcano that you find in the Congo, there is a river that passed there, and that's the Kalunga River. No, this is a concept, right? This is a concept that works and that explains the cycle of reincarnation of the sun and what the Kalunga River plays, what role the Kalunga River plays into the reincarnation, the communication system, the exchange between the physical and the spiritual and all that. So I'm not saying that, you know, there's a place in the Congo called the Kalunga and it is a river. But in the concept of the cosmogram, right, of the Mpinda, the Mbungi, the Bakongo cosmogram, right? So here it is explaining its very specific concept, right? It doesn't mean that the Kalunga River is the river that passes through the volcano in the Kalunga volcano in the Congo, right? So now, so with this being clear, this is crystal clear to me, right? This is crystal clear. Now, and we can also look at the source from this brother who wrote this book. It's called the Bakongo Cosmogram, right? The Bakongo Cosmogram. So the brother explained step by step here, right? What is the Kalunga, right? It explained better. What is the Kalunga? What is the Mbungi, right? And all that. So I have shared the source in the Telegram group, right? The hidden force of Kalunga, right? So it's pretty clear, right? So the Kalunga is not just a mountain or a place in the Congo, and it is over there. The Kalunga is the concept. The Kalunga is a concept also. All right. I'm not denying that there is a place called volcano called Kalunga in the Congo, right? But there is a Kalunga has a concept, and it plays a role in the creation process, right? It plays a role in the creation process, right? The fire that lit up or fire up, right? The Mungi, right? So Kalunga River is a signal, a force, a vibration, electromagnetic force. It has a frequency, and Babalao can tap into it in order to extract the message from nature spirit. Because what is nature spirit? The Orishas. What is nature spirit? In Southern Africa, they have names for their nature spirits, but they are all the same. They only have different names. They have nature spirits in Uganda, Buganda, East Africa. They have different names, but it is the same nature spirit under different names. West Africa, Central Africa, they have all the same. Nature spirit does not change. You can change the name, but you can never change the nature of the nature spirit. All right. So now let's look at the continuation, right? Because here we are basically seeing how, right, Babalawo extracts the message. Very beautiful, ingenious. By containing these characteristics, meaning the sculpted representation of the God or the force of nature, ESHU. Again, ESHU is a force of nature. The tracing of 9 signs and the sound transmission, the stage constitute a kind of place of passage from one world to another. From one world to another, from the physical to the spiritual. This allows the priest, soothsayer, the opportunity to question the gods or nature spirit about the fate of a person and to collect their messages. As a result, the board is essential to the diviner because it is not only an aid to interpret the oracle, but also it is through it that the gods or nature spirits manifest themselves. It is only afterwards that he throws the rosary to interpret the signs he delivers. You see, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before throwing the opele, the chain. The entire divinatory platform can be read like a picture book in which the divine, creation, creatures, and the relationship that bind them appear. That's what we said earlier. The human body permeates the cosmos. The human body permeates nature and the whole universe. And then here we have, right, the cosmos, nature, in which the divine, creation, creatures, and their relationship are binded all together. This is crystal clear. Now, let's see here. Let's look at the comment. Toronto said, EXO and I say Ashe. Yes, sir. Thank you. Ifa Orisha, Ashe, Aseo. Oh, Baba Ifala. Baba, I need to finish the whole. Baba Ifala Labola.
Ifala Labola.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ifala Labola.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome, brother.
Yes, yes, my brother. Thank you. I see that I was invited. That's why I accepted it.
Oh, you were invited?
Yes, Oni.
Okay, so
Yes.
okay, so I am presenting. I don't think maybe Baba Ifalala Balo wanted to come up now. So let him make his request. So whenever he will want to come back, bring him up. So I don't think he wanted to come up now. So we can bring him up later, but you have to make sure that he's willing to come. So do not just bring people on the panel without asking them, right? So please, okay. Okay, Baba.
All right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
anytime you
Thank you.
want to come up and say something, make your request.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
Because
thank
I
you.
don't hear. I don't listen to what you are saying before. That's why I don't know where you are. If I'm saying anything now, it will be different to what you already said.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
and I don't like such.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
So yeah, I would say, because Baba doesn't know exactly where we are. Maybe he joined in the past 10 minutes. So let's give him the time, to see what we're talking about, and then if he wants to come back, he will come. He will make his request. Yeah, no problem. So I will continue
All right.
on, but anytime you want to come up, feel free to come up. Okay. So let me go through. Aburo Aboye Baba Awo. Whoever invited him must be overexcited. Ayo. Okay. Aburo Aboye Babarao. Let's see here. So I was looking at the comment just to see, let's see. We shall explore. Okay, that's we shall explore it in that concept you are explaining. Yeah, I have already explored it, right? But I will be free to share what I know about the Kalunga River. I don't know. Maybe there is a, what is it that's Buddha that you don't understand when we talk about the Kalunga River? Because I feel like maybe you found a mountain or a volcano called Kalunga. So what is the, I don't understand, right? So we have a concept here in the Kalunga Dikenga, right? The Dikenga in the Congo cosmogram. The Congo cosmogram does not say that the Kalunga it is talking about is a volcano or a mountain somewhere, right? It is a concept that is basically being explained. So I'm not sure. Hold on, let me put it on the screen here. Let's put the. Maybe I am missing something, right? Maybe if you want to come up and maybe explain clearly, right? So we have the Congo cosmogram by Dr. Fukio, right? So he's talking about the Kalunga River. And we have been also explaining the concept of the mound. This Finda resembles of the first mound that emerged out of the water, right? And when we say the water, the primordial water. So this is a concept. It doesn't say that this is a mountain somewhere. So I don't understand. Maybe if you can come up, that will be maybe, yes. All right. Grand rising, brother.
Grand Rising Potolo.
All right.
Sorry, you seem to misunderstand. I was talking to Dr. Nomasod, so there's a theory I'm trying to explain to her. So you so happen to read from the bottom upwards. Please carry on with your lesson. That wasn't necessarily about what you were talking about. So I think we are
Okay.
just gonna lose. Yeah, we're gonna lose what you were talking about. Please carry on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Since I didn't read the whole chat trail, yeah, so I thought that maybe it was a question, or maybe yeah, okay, understood. Okay, understood. No
Yes,
problem, brother.
please.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
All right. Okay. Now, in terms of orientation, and this is the beauty of how the law and the principle of Ifa is intertwined with the Kalunga, with the Dikenga, with the Mfinda. How? Well, we have here, right? We're going to read this section here. Ifa has a system of right, science. They want to always use divination, right? Because when they use divination, they want to bring doubt. They don't want to say science. Ifa is a system of scientific processes. It's science beyond the science paradigm of the Western world. Ifa has a system of science, African science, or science in the African paradigm, is a symbol of wisdom in connection with the oracle divinity called ORUNMILA. ORUNMILA. In this connection, one day Abimbola says, Ifa, otherwise known as ORUNMILA, is the Yoruba force of nature of wisdom or God of wisdom. One of the praise names of ORUNMILA is Akere Finusobon, the small one with a mind full of wisdom. Wow! The small one with a mind full of wisdom. What is the small one in the Dogon linguistic? It's called the Po. It's called the Po. The Po is the smallest thing in the Dogon linguistic, in the Dogon metaphysical science, in the Dogon quantum mechanics or quantum physics. We have proven that over here. We have proven and shown that the Dogon master quantum physics and quantum mechanics. They did not just use the term quantum mechanics and quantum physics, but we have scientific data to support the claim that they knew about it thousands of years before Western science even discovered the concept of quantum. And what we call African spirituality is becoming known in the Western world as quantum physics and quantum mechanics. So when we say the small one, in Dogon terms, it's the Po. Why am I bringing the Dogon term Po here? Because the Dogon explain better what the smallest one is capable of doing. The energy or the power of a big system. You can see something very large, very big, but all of its power, it concentrated at the Po, at the center, at the small, tiny dot. All the energy, the intelligence is controlled by the Po. The Po is invisible to the naked eye. Right? So when they refer here to the small one with a mind full of wisdom, they're referring to the Po. The Po is invisible at the center. We learned this from the Seneseed. The Seneseed, the Dogon used the Seneseed to represent the Po. And the equivalent of the Po in Western science will be the atom. The atom. The Po is bigger and broader, and the Dogon explain the Po better than the notion of the atom we have all learned in school. And through learning about this ancestral knowledge of the Po of the Dogon, we came to realize that the atom we have learned in school needs to be corrected. It's missing mind-blowing, very important information we were not told about. And we learned this by reading about the Dogon, what they had to say about the Po. It's missing the 4 pillars. What are the 4 pillars? Yes, every single tiny bit of atom or matter sits on 4 pillars. If you Google the structure of the atom, you are not going to see the 4 pillars. But if you Google the Po, you're going to see exactly this configuration here. You're going to see 4 circles. Each of this circle has a tiny dot at the center, and all report to the center. The center is right there, the Mfinda. So the equivalent of the Mfinda within the Dogon will be called the Po. The equivalent of the Mfinda within the Yoruba will be called the Ita Orun. The concrete items such as Opele, 16 beads, or Ikin, 16 nuts, IROKE, the tapper, Opon Ifa, the Ifa tray or bowl, which is used in divining, is only a symbol symbolizing ORUNMILA, the god of divination, the god of wisdom and omniscience, as a wise god. You see, the symbol that symbolizes a force of nature, a deity called ORUNMILA, the 16 beads, the 16 nuts, the IKIN, the IROKE, the tapper, the tray, those are the symbol of ORUNMILA. Right? Lucas is of the opinion that cosmological ideas are associated with the heads carved on Ifa trays. Yes, the heads carved on Ifa trays, right, plays a major role in terms of cosmological ideas. They represent, according to the traditional beliefs and confirmed by my informant, the four divinities presiding over the four corners of the world and whose domains are the four chief Odu of Ifa. You see, the four chief Odu of Ifa are known. Amongst the 256 Odu, there are four chief Odu: Okbe, Oyeku, Iwori, Odi. The Odus are generally arranged to form the 4 points of the compass. The orientation is as follows: Odi, Odi Meji, Oyeku Meji, Iwori Meji, Eji Ogbe. And we have learned all of this, right, previously. So we know by now, we understand where and how to place it, right, in the cosmogram that was generated, right, over the course of the month or the years. Yeah, we have ended up with something. So in this cosmogram, right, so this here is the remaking of this one by adding Dogon information, Yoruba, Igbo, Congo, and we need to add Southern Africa here with the structure of the 4 family member, right? Kwami, right? We need to add Kwami. We need to add Tokwadima, Nokwara, Chirumi. This is the divination system in Southern Africa. A lot of people did not know about it. Divination by the 4 tablet system. Kwami, Chilumi, Ntakwala, Lunwi. All closed, all open. The same configuration like we see in Ifa. Double bar, single bar. Or if you want to see the circle in Ifa, they also represent the sign has circles, right? Filled up circle or empty circle. So let me show that here. Right? I should have that here. So I should have that, yeah, right here. Here, 4 tablet system, right? The circle, the empty circle is open. The plain circle is closed. This is the 16th figure, the 16th basic figure of Ifa, right? Obe, Oyeku, Iwori, Edi, Obara, all the way to Ofun. Now, did you know they are also using the divining chain? So using the divining chain, this is using the nut, the palm nuts. Using the divining chain, look at that. The open circle, right, is basically showing that this is Ogbe, So the open or the clear circle doesn't mean empty. This is basically single bar, single bar, single bar, single bar. So the equivalent of obey is this one. Single bar, single bar, single bar, single bar. The equivalent in this representation will be the empty circle, right? We call that open circle. You see, what is open on the chain can be closed here. So let's not confuse the two, right? So now look at the beauty of the two divination system now and how they are both in harmony. Look at this. We are going to take the sign of all open in the 4-tablet system divination in Southern Africa within, right? This is within the Shona people. Within the Shona people. All open, again, what is all open over here? Musasu, Manu, Zaru, Rustua. What is this? What does that mean in terms of, right, significance? People, abundance. People, abundance, right? And then here, if someone speaks Shona, if you are in the chat and you speak Shona, we will appreciate you tell us what means Musasu. Because I'm sure Musasu will be connected to, I don't want to say it, but I'm waiting. Anybody in the chat who speak the Shona? What is Musasu? What is Manu? What is Zaru? What is Rutsua in Shona? I'm waiting. Right? And let me go to the book if I can find this information here. I really want to know. Because here in Ifa, we also have the all open here. Right? We also have the all open here. And I know what obey means in Ifa. We know that. I don't speak the Shona language. I want to know. Nobody? Okay. We're going to go to the internet. We're going to go look it up. Right? We're going to go look it up. So we're going to Google Shona Musasu. Right? Let's do that. Musasu in Shona language. Oh, I can do Shona. I can do Shona to English converter. Let's see. Shona to English. Right? We know Google may not be accurate, but we're going to try. We're going to see, right? Shona to English. Oh, beautiful. We have that, right? Now, we're going to type Musasu. What is Musasu? Oh, no. Musasu, they're saying that in English, it means Musamu. This Google is stupid. I'm asking Google, Musasu in Shona, what is it in English? They said it's Musamu. Oh, man. Oh, and then he says Japanese. Okay, so this Shona is not even the Shona of South Africa. So there is a language in Japan called Shona. Interesting. There is a language, a linguistic in Japan called the Shona. Damn. Okay. Musasu in Shona, Africa. Musasu. The meaning of this surname is not listed. And the name Musasu is found, right, in the Congo, East Africa, right there. Zambia, Zimbabwe, Congo. Right? It is more prevalent in Zimbabwe. We have about 153 incidents. Zambia is 43. Now, let's go back. Let's see. Shona. Shona. Africa. Shona language dictionary. Shona. Okay, so we're gonna move on, right? We're gonna move on. We don't know, and we're gonna need to look into it, because it would have been very good if we could know what the Musasu, and there's Musasu, right? Musasu, Manu, Zaru, and Rutsva, right? But I'm suspecting all of this has something to do with what? So they gave the meaning of all open in the Shona language. Now, the same symbol here, they came in the Sidiki language. Look at that. Look at how they're playing with the information. They come here in Sidiki language, which is in Madagascar. They have also been using divination. That means that our ancestors were there. This is how we know we can trace the ancestor. Right? They've been there before they got erased or chased out. Right? Now, within the so-called Sidiki people, right? This year is going to be all open. This year is going to be all open. Number one is in the same column. All of these are all open. In Sidiki language, all open stands for what? It stands for people, the world, life. People stands also for the world, life. Also, it stands for abundance. Abundance, the summit, accomplishment. When you have abundance, you have reached the summit in certain type of way. You have reached accomplishment. You have accomplished something, right? So this is why the all open over here stands right there for summit, accomplishment, life, the world, which means the same thing as Okbe. So in the meantime, I clearly see the connection here with the all open over here, the Okbe within the Shona and the Okbe in Ifa, right? But in order to confirm what I said, we're going to wait, we're going to be patient, and we're going to look for the meaning of Musasu, Manu, Zaru, Rutsva. So I would appreciate if some people can take note or a screenshot, and the next time when we come live, share, right, the meaning of this word with us, right? Now, going back to where we were at, right? So let me go back to the slide. Where I was at. I got lost. I think I got lost a little bit, guys. I got lost a little bit. But I'm going to find my way, right? I'm going to find my way back. So we went through this. Where is it? So where is it? I need to start making note of the slide number. I forgot to do that earlier, guys. Usually I tell the chat, you know, make note of the slide number. Right? So let me see here. Was it in this set of slide? Okay, let me go back up here. Let me go back up here. And let me look over here. Okay, I think it was over here. All right, that's Buddha.
Sorry, Potolo. I'm coming because Tsilo is translating the word Rusva as something new. So I wanted to come up to let you know that.
Who translated it?
Tsilo. She's on the chat. She just sent it. She can't come up. So she said, if you want to know the word Rusva, which is in Shona, well, let me explain this firstly. Okay. Shona is not a language. Shona is like saying Nguni languages, where you have Zulu, Xhosa, and Ndebele and so forth. So if you are saying to people in Zimbabwe, for example, what is the word Rusva? For example, Tsilo speaks, I think she speaks Kalang Ayo, I don't know now. You see, Tsilo, what language do you speak, please? So I can make an example. But simply, I was just saying, when you are asking, for example, for a word which is in the Shona divination, because Shona includes a few people, Zezuru, Karanga, there's many others. I'm sorry, I don't know all of them. Oh, she says Musasa is a house.
Yeah, I think we're looking for Musasu, not Musasa.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, maybe Musasa
So she
and
says
Musasu is the
Musasu is
same
not,
thing.
but she
Yeah,
said
that's
Ratsu.
okay. That's okay. We're gonna find some good sources. So usually we are not rushing. Usually, if we don't have any information, we don't rush. We patient. We take the time to go look. Right. So no worries. No worries.
Yes,
Yeah, no
but she said
worries.
Rusva, which was, I think, one of the words, she says means something new. That's what I was coming up to say. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's Buddha, right? Thank you. So we're gonna find some pretty solid sources, right? No doubt on that, right? But from what I have explained, I'm not going to go back again to it. I used the CD key right above before the Shona, meaning of all open, to explain and make the connection. So if I have to use the Siddiqui, I see the Siddiqui being connected to the Okbe sign Ifa, the Ifa sign called Okbe, right? And I know, right, after digging, right, we should be able to see the connection. So we are going to confirm, right? We are going, no worries, guys, take your time, no rush. Let's not rush, and let's take the time to go look it up, to ask people, and to find pretty good solid documentation, right? Because our information are going into slides, right? So we want to make sure that we share the right information and we are not just guessing, right? We are not sure. No, we want to have the source of information and we need to have it on the screen. So but we're gonna get there, no worries, right? Let's take our time to bring back solid information and let's add a source to it, right? We need a source, a reference. So, all right. So this is where we were at, right? So we clearly see how the Ifa sign are connected to what? The four cardinal point. Whether the four cardinal point orientation is in the Congo, in South Africa, in East Africa, in West Africa, it does not change the nature and the principle of the four cardinal point. You can change the names, you can change depending on the linguistic, but it's not changing the concept behind the four cardinal orientation. In Yoruba, you have Eji Ogbe in the east, Odi Meji in the north, Oyeku Meji in the west, Iwori Meji in the south. And you have conception, birth, maturity, death. And in Ifa, Oyeku is death. But the death in Ifa means life. Death translates to life into a different realm. That's the beauty of African science. Death in the Western concept does not exist in African science or African spirituality. We never die. They came up with the word definition of death. Go read the definition of death on Google or into a dictionary. Damn, it's all about extermination. It's the end. There's nothing after that, right? Unless you are maybe Christian or Muslim. In the African paradigm, death translates to life. You have to leave the physical body behind and continue on in the new next journey, the next chapter of your journey on earth or in the cosmos. You can reincarnate in the same realm or you can reincarnate in a different realm, right? But we know one thing for sure. Death is not the end. It's never the end. It has never been the end, right? And one way to prove that is through what? Through us. Our ancestor never died, or our ancestor never got erased because we are here. Our ancestors still live in us, even genetically. The DNA, the gene, we carry the gene of our ancestral lineage. So technically, they have never gone nowhere. It's us today. And you see why the Western paradigm wants to destroy and bring misconception around ancestrality? Because people don't want to be held accountable for what their ancestors have done. So they are going to tell you that, oh, I am not my ancestor. We are not our ancestor. They did what they did. We have nothing to do with it. No, it does not work over here like that. It doesn't work like that over here. Every single human being alive today, whether black or white, you are the result and the product of your ancestor. So technically, your ancestors still live in you. You carry their gene. How can you say that your ancestors are gone? You have nothing to do with them. You don't have nothing to do with what they did, because people are too damn afraid these days. They don't want to be associated with the atrocity that were done in the past. So they want to dissociate themselves from their ancestor. But over here, in this African platform, there's no dissociation with the ancestor. No way. Because genetically, we carry the gene of Papa Mama. Papa Mama carry the gene of Grandpa and Grandma, and so on and so on. So the ancestor technically never died. They never gone anywhere because we are here. So one way to maintain that lineage is to procreate. That's why in certain African clan and tradition, not procreating is a sin. It is an abomination. And people usually in families who did not procreate and pass away, they are not getting the proper burial ceremony because they are living without any procreation. They did not make any babies. So they are not going to be buried in the same spot with others. They are not going to go through specific rituals because they basically ended a lineage. Thousands of years and millions of years of a bloodline is gone. It stop. It stop right there with that person if that person does not procreate. Luckily, within the family, usually Papa makes sure that he has like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, 15 kids to max out the chances of the lineage and the bloodline of the family to continue on and to live forever. Right? So we are no longer going to fall into the trap of the Western concepts of death, you know, ancestrality, our connection with the ancestors, right? People being saying it's evil, but they are going to ask you to worship Jesus. Who's Jesus? If Jesus existed, he was the ancestor of some group of people. I have nothing to do with Jesus. There's nobody in my bloodline, right, in my lineage that look like Jesus. Why am I going to abandon my blood ancestral line to go worship some dude we don't even know if he existed, right? So it's proven. I mean, me personally, that dude never existed the way he's been described and he's been spoken about. I don't give a damn about Jesus. I don't give a damn about Muhammad. I don't give a damn about none of that. I give attention and I learn from my ancestral lineage. You and I, even though we belong to different ancestral lineage, we are all connected. Yes, we are all connected. That's why we have been using African linguistic, African tradition, African rituals, African spirituality, and we have been proving how West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa, and East Africa can never be separated. The Berlin Conference was made to actually bring separation so that someone from Nigeria is going to say that, oh, there's a war in the Congo. I have nothing to do with that. That's the Congo. It's not my country. Who told you about the notion of border and country? It's the colonizer at the Berlin Conference. Because it was a way for them to split over Africa and basically isolate one group of people, one piece of land from another one by saying that, okay, we are going to create countries. We are going to make up countries. And so we can better have access and control specific spot. So people who belong to Nigeria are not going to come interfering with helping the people in the Congo because they are not from Congo. They carry and they are proud of the Nigerian flag. The people in South Africa would say, well, people in the Congo, we have nothing to do there, right? They have to figure out how to solve their own problem. We here in South Africa, for the time being, things seems to be okay. We don't have at least a war, but that's a big mistake, right? People in Cameroon or in Senegal are going to say the same thing because they are hiding behind a flag. But who came up with the flag identity thing? Is the colonizer. So basically, by saying that you are a Cameroonian and you are proud of the flag of your country, you are basically, right, validating the division the colonizer has instigated in the first place, right? Those countries were made up and it was meant to divide us, not to bring us together, right? So people don't understand that on TikTok. They don't get it, right? They always say and shout, oh, I am from, Sierra Leone, Gambia. I am proud of my country. I don't care whatever happened in Africa because in Gambia here, we don't have a war. At least we are at peace. That's a big problem. That's exactly what the colonizer wants you to say. That's exactly, right, the agenda and the goal of splitting Africa, like a cake. Right? Now, moving on. The points of the compass represented, right? The point of the compass represented, and the gods presiding over the respective corner are as follows. You remember, we are still, right? The Babalao is tapping, right? Using the tapper, the IROKE, right? To knock at the door of Ifa, ORUNMILA, ESHU. So it is important to understand the configuration and the positioning of the forces. Where is ESHU? ESHU is ruling in the east. Where is Shango? Shango is ruling in the west. Where is Obatala? In the south. Ogun in the north. So when the Babalao places the divination tray on the mat, he has to respect specific orientation. Calibration is very important because he's tapping into these nature spirits. These are the Orishas. The Orishas are nature spirits. Behind each Orisha, there is an Ifa sign. Behind Eshu, you have Eji-Ogbe. Eji-Ogbe. Behind Shango, you have Oyekumeji. Next to Obatala, you have Iworimeji. Next to Ogun, you have Odimeji. Right? So this is how they are connected. Now, once you take this and you place it in the Bakongo Dikenga, it fits the same concept because the cardinal point, north, south, east, and west, never change. That's why I said earlier, nature spirit do not change. The only thing that changes is the names we are giving to this nature spirit. The nature spirit in Southern Africa is the same nature spirit as in West Africa. They just have different names. You can call your God Unkulunkulu, right? Someone will call him Olodumare, but it does not change the nature of that creator God. Now, so let's go to the slide. Right. Let's go quickly to the slide. Now, so by now we should have a clue, right? And a better understanding on where and why Babalao taps, right, on here, knocking at the door, right, to trigger right here. A wand or tapper. This is an example of a wand or a tapper used by Babalao to summon the attention of the nature spirit. A wand or tapper used in Yoruba, Ifa, science, or Ifa system, or yes, Ifa system. They call computer science, right? Computer science or computer system. This is our computer system or science over here. But we call it, instead of saying computer, we say Ifa. Right? A wand or tapper used in Yoruba Ifa science. The Babalawo taps the Ifa board with the point of the tapper repeatedly to summon the attention of the necessary Orisha, Eshu, and Orunmila. Now, you see, we are surrounded by thousands of nature spirits. But do you see them coming to bother a human when you go to bed? People come knock you out or disturb you? No. They are locked in a very specific house. When I say house, right, you understand what I mean. It's in the universe, in the cosmos. And they don't want to interfere with our day-to-day activity unless they are invoked. And if people knew how to invoke or to summon them, they will be disturbing them sometimes. That's why it is a secret and a process to go through initiation in order to know how to tap into this, because people may just be playing with these energy, right? So there are specific frequency that needs to be emitted in order to summon the attention of specific nature spirit, right? Right? Then the Babalao now can tap into what is called in the Congo the Mfinda. Or you can call this the Ita Orun. We can bring in the Yoruba Isheshe, right? The Yoruba Isheshe is in harmony with the Mfinda, right? Right there. At the center, we have the Ita Orun, right? This is not to say that there are also forces in the four cardinal point. So the Babalao is tapping into all of that. And he's pointing specifically to Ifa, ESHU, ORUNMILA in order to take action in the obtention of the combination that will be displayed on the chain, right? The obtention, whether the cowrie is going to be open or closed, is now going to be controlled and produced, generated by Ifa, ORUNMILA, ESHU. ESHU is the messenger who will bring basically the message to Babalao, right? Now, when people see this, what do they say? Oh, it's idol worship. Idol worship. I'm just laughing. They say, oh, it's idol worship. No, it's not idol worship. So here we have what? We have, this is a representation of ORUNMILA, the spirit of destiny, prophet and priest of Ifa. ORUNMILA, the spirit of destiny, the prophet and priest of Ifa. Who was present, right? Who was present when Olodumare conceived and effected the process of creation? Who was the witness of the mechanization of the universe? Who was what to know and how to get things done wisely? ORUNMILA. That's why ORUNMILA, ESHU, Ifa has to be summoned by tapping on the back of the tray, right? By doing the tapping at a various frequency, resonance is attained. Resonance between the frequency of the Ita Orun or the Mfinda is synchronized with the sound Babalao is emitting, right? Let me go back here again, and I'm going to show you the resonance. Right here. So when this is used to tap in here, a specific sound frequency or wave is generated. Babalao knows exactly, right, how much, what pressure to exert here. And this is called what? A resonance chamber. Just a second, y'all. Just a second. I'll be right back. All right, all right, all right. Man, I'm loving this, man. We're loving this, right? So, um, resonance, the resonance chamber, right? This area here serves as a resonance chamber. What is the resonance in physics? You see how, right? Physics comes into play, what you call in the Western concept, resonance. Babalao knows how to attain resonance, but they don't call it resonance. They have the Yoruba or the African word for that. But did you know that the same principle of resonance is needed all the way in Southern Africa within the divination by the tablets? The divination by the tablets, right? So we are going to make a quick, right? We are going to make a quick 90-degree maybe turn, right? We're going to look at the tapper. It looks like the tapper within the Shona, right? So this is slide 342, right? I need to come back to 342. So mute for a minute, Jide, and I will let you speak in about 30 seconds, right? So let's look at the Shona. So guys, when you come up on the panel, the first thing you do is you mute, right? You mute, please. Right? Please mute. Right? Now, so let's go quickly to the Shona, and I'm going to show you, right, the instrument they are using to attain and to invoke, right, to invoke their own the version, another version, which is also the same DT, the same forces. In the Yoruba, call it ORUNMILA, Ifa, ESHU, right? Now, down in South Africa, can you mute for a minute, bro?
Hello, baby. How are you?
Man, you see, when people come on the panels, the first thing to do is you mute yourself and you wait, right, for people to give you, because I'm going to be dropping videos on what I'm presenting, and I don't want to stop in the middle trying to bring silence, because it's going to mess up the, the video or something I was going to drop later on, right? Please. So let's look at the Shona or Bavenda. I'm almost there. Now, look at this bag. See the bag? Next to the bag, you have what? The bone. The bone. What does the bone serve for? According to what I read in the PDF document, right? This bone, right, is used to blow into it. So to make a sound. So a sound, right? Air is blown in the bone and is going to emit a sound. The concept of the IROKE in Ifa used to tap to make a sound. Here, right, the diviner, the Mungoma or Sangoma, will need to blow into this, making a sound. They know exactly what type of sound, what is the frequency, right? They don't need an instrument to measure the frequency for them and to tell them exactly that it is 15 hertz or 20 hertz or 100 hertz. No, they know exactly how to measure it. They don't need an electronic device to measure for them, right? So we see the principle here of making a sound. And next time we are going to explore. So the way this divination bowls work is a little bit different, right? So there is a kari, water is thrown here and they can see through it, the cosmos. They can also use what they call the muloi, right? In order to find out who did what. Like if someone is guilty of to have committed a crime or have done something bad, they are capable to come here and to recreate the whole scene and be able to visualize who committed the crime. Yo, something like this, the CSI in the US will run out of business. if, right, we are capable to bring them this to the table, and we don't even want to, right? Some people may lose their life if they know this technology and they want to bring it, right? The Westerner are going to unalive because it's too cheap. Everybody's gonna know who is doing. If you want to know, right, the people doing bad things in society, you go to the divination tray and you see everything and exactly what they are doing. Damn, they don't need that. They don't need this to happen in their society. Then he will have access to what people are doing. Now they are very concerned about privacy. Why is the West so strict about privacy? What are you doing in secret? What are they doing in secret to the point where they are obsessed with privacy, right? Don't break my privacy. Privacy, privacy. What are you afraid of? Are you hiding something? Are you doing something super bad to the point where nobody should find out about it? Well, the African divination tray, right, is capable of recreating a scene and showing step by step how and who committed a crime. The CSI, the Crime Scene Investigation Bureau, will run out of business with something like this. They will be done, right? So let me go back to 344, right? 344, right? 342, right? So ESHU, these are the Orisha, the divine messenger. Ogun, the path opener and cultivator. You see that? The path opener. The path opener. Obatala, the king of the white cloth. Olokun, the unlimited ocean. Oshun, the honey of life. Oya, the wind and storm. You see how nature, spirit, natural phenomena are embedded and deified into Oya. Shango, the thunder and lightning. Yemonja, the river of life. Osanyin, the medicinal alchemist. This is one of my favorite Orisha. I got two. ESHU and Osanyin. ESHU and Osanyin. Osanyin, we're going to learn about Osanyin, and I'm going to show you what I know about Osanyin. And maybe you might also fall in love with this nature spirit here. Ochosi, the master of intuitive detection. Ibeji, the twins of manifestation, right? So those are some principles that are good to know. You don't need to memorize. It's just good to know the concept of the Orisha or nature spirit. All of this are nature spirit, forces of nature, right? Going back to here. Now, we understand the concept and the principle of communication, or to how the Babalawo summon ESHU, ORUNMILA, Ifa by tapping here, right? Both for the divination with the Opele or the divination with the Ikin, right? Now, we can quickly just touch on something, a little bit more technical, right? Technical, scientific, right? So, but we had to explain, some concept behind it, right? Some of the concept behind the obtention, the process of obtaining different number and different combination, right? We had to explain. Now, So we were talking a little bit about the way of the knot, right? And the way by the chain. So let me copy this, and we are gonna go into let's go right here, and let me paste this here. Now, and whenever you have a chance, you can watch the video on YouTube. You can just Google Babalao manipulating the palm knot, IFA. Just IFA, manipulation of the knots, right? So, there are two ways. The way by using the opele or the chain, right? The Yoruba configuration here, and there is a font configuration here, and I will need Baba, right? Baba, Ifa, Lala, Be, or Labo. Yeah, I don't know. I need to learn how to pronounce his name, but I would just say Baba, right? In the Yoruba system, the Yoruba system, the Babalao, right? The Babalao sits here. In the font system, the Babalao sits here. You see the orientation of the chain? So he will need to confirm this for me, because I think the source where I got this, right, has probably reversed it, right? So it would be good to have him back, not today, Baba. If you are there listening, you don't have to come up now, but I'm going to bring this up to you next time, right? I want to know the positioning here. Does the Babalao sit here and the chain is oriented towards the patient, or is it this way? So I will need to confirm that, right? So the West, or the Western scientists, are so confused, and unfortunately, because us as African people, black people, we are being indoctrinated and educated into a Western paradigm to the point where we start to act and to think like Western people. Just pay attention. Look around you. Black people behaving as white people. Right? So basically, you are seeing white people in a black skin. White people under a black skin. Right? So when we try to explain these concepts to people who have not been exposed to African spirituality, the first thing that comes in mind is, where is the scientific process? Did you apply the scientific methods? Where is this? What is that? Now, if you take someone who grew up in the Yoruba community and who was initiated to Ifa, how come he understands this better and almost has no question, because it's so clear, it's crystal clear to him, and it makes sense? Yes, because he grew up into an African paradigm. The Western paradigm basically mix and twist people's mind, right? So you have to learn how to separate from the Western paradigm when diving into African science. There is what we call paradigm shift. A paradigm is a set of rules, right, that are given to a user in order to solve a problem within specific boundaries. You cannot get out of it. Paradigm shift is when you dissociate yourself from the so-called standard rules or paradigm of the Western world and be able to look at things from the perspective of common sense, critical thinking, and discernment. There is not just one way, right, to solve a problem. Science is not a one-way street. Science is not Science is not a one-way street, right? But the Western world is going to teach you that if you are not doing or researching or presenting on something using Western standard, then you are not credible. And going forward, we don't need any approval from any Western scientific community. We don't need any approval from nobody. We move on with the ancestral knowledge. We dive into it. We want to penetrate the mind of the ancestor. We want to enter in a communication system with our ancestral roots. How do we do that? By diving into the system they have put in place. When we understand what they were trying to do, then we mingle our state of mind, our thought with the knowledge and the thought process they use in order to put this thing in motion. That's the beauty of this. Every time I'm diving into these things, you don't know how proud I am, because I am tapping into the thought of one ancestor that decided, or a community of black people just like me, just like you, who put these rules and this system into place. That's the beauty of that. Just by reading about it, it's beyond anything else I have learned from the Western paradigm or from Western scientific book, because basically the knowledge in the Western world is the African knowledge cooked up in a different form. Ifa was taken and computer science was born. You see, Africa was the place of knowledge. The African continent, from east to central to south to West Africa, it was knowledge. And the Arabs, the Europeans, could not understand how so-called primitive people, hunter-gatherers, mapped the sky, understood nature better than anything, better than anybody on this planet. They had to practice the manhunt in order to disrupt the flow of knowledge on the African continent. Right? So, with the 16 sacred palm nuts, we have broken this down this morning. So, you can watch a video on YouTube, right, that can help you to understand and to have a good visual, right? To have a good picture on what is going on here. So, the Babalawo basically places 16 nuts in the left hand. These are the 16 nuts here. And he will randomly grab the nuts. And only one or two nuts should remain in the hands at any given time. If by some, it can happen. Let's say, for example, he grabs all 16 nuts, so nothing is left here. What does Ifa says? If the number remaining in the left hand is 0, the test is 0. It has to be repeated. And the value of X is 0. So you cannot move on to text 1 or text number 2. You basically nullify. So the test is nullified and has to be repeated, because Ifa does not live in an empty or lifeless house. So basically, taking all 16 nuts, or emptying the left hand with, by grabbing all the nuts and nothing is left here, you know what it means? Nothingness does not exist with Ifa. That's why they don't use the 0. The 0 does not exist in Ifa. It's the single bar, double bar. There is no 0. because the concept of zero do not make sense, and it should not even exist. If it is not 1, it's 0, it's 2. If it is not plus, it's negative. If it is not positive, it must be negative. There is no such as neutral, in between. No, it's either open or close, head or tail. There is no such between head and tail, or halfway towards tail and then the remaining part towards a head. No, right? So they knew that. So the concept of the zero does not exist, right? That's why it has to be repeated. The same way, if 3 nuts and above are left in the left hand, the test also needs to be repeated. It must be always either 1 or 2 nuts left in the left hand. 1, right? 1 is what? The number 1 is odd. 2 is even. When 1 nut is left in the left hand, it will be marked as double bar. When 2 nuts is left in the left hand, it should be 1 single bar. It's right here, right? 1 nut in the left hand after the test, 2 parallel lines. 2 nuts in the left hand after the test, 1 single line representing, right, the open side in the half nut. So basically this is the rule, and this is the trial. Trial number 1, right? The Babalao has 1 nut, right, left in the hand. So he's going to write a single bar, right? He has 2 nuts, 2 nuts left in the hand, right? Trial number 1, 2 nuts left. He's going to write a single bar. So let me show you. Let me bring additional information here so we can do this activity together. Yeah, I think here is going to be better. Right? Like this. You see? Trial number 1. Right? Trial or number 1. First test. 2 nuts left. 2 nuts left in the left hand is the single bar right there. Next trial, right? Number 2. Right? He has 2 nuts again left in the left hand. He's going to draw a single bar below the previous one. This one here is that one. So trial number 2. Trial number 3, right? You carry over the previous trial on the top here. That's why you see this one is here. This one and this one is here, right? Represented here. Now, trial number 3, right? What did he have? He has, right, 2 nuts left, right? He has 1 nut, 1 nut in the left hand is going to be double bar, right? So I was pointing here. So in the phone system in Benin, we start from here. So technically, this trial over here start here. We're going that way. We're going from, right? We're going that way. Okay, so here we have single bar, double bar, single bar. After trial, right? After the end of this trial over here. So we are done here. Single bar, double bar, single bar. What is this one here? This is 2, 2, 1, 2. 2, 2, 1, 2. Right? 2, 2, 1, 2. This means 2 nuts left. First trial, that will be a single bar. Single bar, double bar, single bar, right? Right there. Over here, right? Since we are looking to have 8 bits, right? 8 bits or octet, 8 position, not 4. We are going to continue all the way to 8 trial, because each trial, right, or each test will occupy 1 bit, right? So that's why we're going from 1 to 8 for the 8 position, because we need a total of 8 position. So we are done here at 4. Then we have to start for the other side. right? This side over here, right? Trial number 5, right? He has what? 2 nuts left, right? Single bar. Trial number 6, right here, 2 nuts again. Number 7, 2 nuts again. Number 8, right? Number 8, 2 nuts again. So that will be a total of what? A total of 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 2. Right here, over here. Right there. So this one I circle here in orange is after the first 4 trial, right? And then this here is carry over here, right? What you see here, this one here is the same thing as this one. 1 1 double bar, single bar. It's the same thing. It has been just carry over here and carry over here and carry over there, so that you can keep up and keep track of what was done before, right? So it's just repeated here, right? So basically this is how the Babalao will write these down in the tray or in the sand, and then he will come up with this number. So now it appears like the picking of the nuts from the left hand, it appears and it seems like it is random, but it's not random. And the Babalao is the one picking the nuts out of the left hand, not someone else, right? Because the Babalao has to do some cleansing and he has to synchronize himself to the scene, to the setting and things like that. So it's not random. This is where the Westerners are lost. They are lost because they think this is random here, right? It seems and it looks to be random, but it is not random. There is a set of rule and law governing the obtention of these numbers. Why? Because at the end of the session, the patient goes out with the solution of the problem. He goes out and he leaves with his problem solved. The problem are solved. That means that it is not random. If the problem were not being solved, then we would say that, oh, for this person it works, for that person it doesn't work. This is the proof that it is not random, even though it looks like it is random. But if it was random, how come 100% of the people who consult a Babalao, I'm not talking about any regular Babalao, because we know on social media, right, basically there are people who call themselves Babalao, but they are not, right? And they're extorting money from other people. I'm not talking about that kind of person. We're talking about people who start the training at a young age. Anybody, the people I spoke to and I asked the question with their experience with Babalao, they were satisfied and they got the answer to their question. That means that it is working. If it was not working, it was not even being put in this format. They have an encyclopedia of 256 Odu. And this morning, we have even shown the prescription in Ifa. We have even shown how the sign of Ifa are connected to prescription. Yes, there are Odu that pinpoint specific plants and leaf to cure specific ailment. Here we have the sign that recommend the prescription against cough. This person went to see Babalao. Babalao casted the nuts on the chain and he obtained this, and he said, okay, Ifa is saying that you have to mix the leaf of Oja with lemon, Orombo, mix Orombo and Oja. Someone else went to Ifa with a problem of anemia, blood-related problem or issue, right? The combination number was 56, right? 55, which corresponded to the 56th chapter of the encyclopedia, right there. The number obtained was Owanri Osa, right? And it's pointed out the leaf of Apeje and the leaf of Amuje. And this leaf is known in science to actually bring blood to help with blood-related problem. How did Ifa, the numbers, if it was random, pinpointed specific plants and specific Odu or chapter in the encyclopedia? So it's not random. So we are going to stop here. Thank you, everybody. I gotta go. I got some errands to run. And I think I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. I don't know if maybe we should just next time when I come back live, because I have a feeling that there is a lot of reading that needs to be done. And then when I come back to talk about Ifa, right? There's a lot of things. I think I'm gonna reserve some of the information, for later. I feel like there are still some prerequisites. There are some prerequisites that needs to be known, right? So few times I tried to speak about Ifa, right? And I've noticed that prerequisites were needed. So I went to talk about the prerequisite, the Bakongo cosmogram, to explain the flow of energy and explain a lot of stuff, right? So I think there are still some prerequisites that needs to be met. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. But, so next time when we come back on Ifa, it's going to be much more the mathematic behind it. Yeah. So, yeah, mathematics. And then if Babalawo comes, I have some question for him. I know he will come back. I have some question for him for next time. So going forward, we are going to focus, right, on other aspect of Ifa. It's going to be much more scientific, right? We are going to touch again to redo the hexadecimal, the binary, and all that. We are going to show how it is in computer science. So I'm going to dive more and more into this aspect here. Like I said yesterday, Ifa is big, it's broad. There's a lot of things that needs to be known. And trust me, it took me years of reading constantly on Ifa in order to understand what I know and what I'm talking about today. Trust me, right? On TikTok Live, it's not enough. You have to do work personally. And we have been dropping sources in the Telegram group. The link is in my TikTok profile. We have been dropping sources for people to read. So we are going forward, I think we need to focus. I could be wrong. I think we need to focus on, the mathematical, scientific, the Boolean, the mathematical structure in Ifa being used in computer and science. And we will also need to have more and more of brothers and sisters in the community that have a major or minor in computer science, right? I have shown basically the representation of the ASCII number or ASCII code are being used using Ifa sign or Ifa Odu. These are Ifa Odu. The length of this is 8. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Odu is also 8. The Odu is also 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This cannot just be a coincidence, right? They just replaced the double bar with the 0, and they align the number horizontally. You see, horizontally. But this is using that, the Ifa corpus of the 16 primordial sign, to represent this, all the possibility of 256, 2 to the power of 8. Right? So, thank you, everybody. It has been a pleasure. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the roses, the hat, all of you who have been supporting the live. I appreciate, the gesture and the likes and the sharing. It is amazing. I like what I'm seeing. I have the best audience. I'm not going to ask more, right? So we just need to make sure we share the live to others. There are people out there who are looking for this type of information, right? They want to learn. And we have to promote and push and more for African knowledge, ancestral African knowledge, right? It is in us, right? We just have to trigger it. How do we trigger it? By reading about it, by spending time brainstorming about what the ancestors have done, right? And at the same time, we need to keep an eye at the Muzungu, because the Muzungu is really sneaky, right? We need to keep an eye to what Muzungu is doing. So we're saying what we're saying to dive deeper into African spirituality, but at the same time, Muzungu is using a totally different pathway, right? They're trying to use the concept of Ifa to create the new God. AI is trying to take over and become the new God. Just imagine if every single human being is remotely accessible, right? We are told that this is for the future of medicine. So people can be remotely accessed and treated, medicine administered, heart rate slow down or increase, and this blood, right? So it can be reversible. The same way it can be used for good. We know bad is also pointing around the corner, right? It can go both ways. So we need to keep track, and we've been doing this efficiently. We're keeping up with the technology out there. At the same time, we're trying to find ways to provide stability for our community, right? Valorization of ancestral knowledge, and promoting what our ancestors have done, and conscientizing, teaching the younger one, just for a kid growing up to know that the concept of Ifa, of ancestral knowledge of Ifa, is being used in computer and cell phone. I'm telling you, it's going to elevate the morale, the level of confidence, the level of consciousness is going to be elevated. Your kid is going to be like, wow, someone like me did this? Oh yes, damn right. Yes. So do you. You can do the same. You have the capabilities to do that, right? It's all about mindset, right? To have the right mindset. So thank you, everyone. And tomorrow is Saturday. We'll see, right? Just stick around. If you see me live, as always, you will be welcome. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, She Matters. It's been a long week. It's Friday, So amazing job. She Matters, always there to support, right? To provide assistance. The sister, a wonderful man. Guys, if you want to be successful in life, surround yourself with women, bro. Surround yourself with women, because the men are crying too damn much these days, right? They are I don't know what is going on with the men, but they're crying too much. They're lazy, right? They're lazy, they're crying, they're complaining. They want to be kissed in the face. They want to be kissed, right? They want to be kissed. They want to be cherished. They want to be pampered. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that. If you want to cry, go open your room, sit down, cry out. Don't come over here and cry, right? Just go cry alone. We don't need to hear it. We don't need to hear it. Oh, man. All right. Thank you, everybody. And looking forward to have you back, right? Thank you. Bye.